Coming up on West Side Stories, see how one drone pilot is working to bring accessible aviation to third world countries.
Plus, get your mind off of winter for a few minutes with an inside look at the 74th Annual Grand Rapids Boat Show.
And the U.S. Curling Championships recently took place in Kalamazoo. We recap the event and talk with some of the best curlers in the country. All that and more next on West Side Stories.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications, inspiring thought, perfecting practice.
Welcome to West Side Stories. I'm Preston Unakuski.
And I'm Mackenzie Sorrell. The Federal Aviation Administration has made an important change to its drone policy. The FAA now requires all drone pilots to visibly display their registration numbers. Experts say this new change will promote safety in the skies.
The FAA's recent focus on drones reflects the growing popularity of flying unmanned aircraft. Reporter Madeline Crace introduces us to a commercial drone pilot and an engineer who's reportedly on the cutting edge of drone innovation, and he's still in high school.
I became the youngest commercial drone pilot in the U.S. when I was 16. When I was 12 is when I started first building those, and I started my first business when I was 14.
Alex Taylor is an 18-year-old from the small town of Lowell, Michigan. Ever since Alex can remember, he has been fascinated with aviation.
Well, I grew up in Istanbul, Turkey, and I've always loved aviation and airplanes, and unfortunately general aviation isn't super accessible in other places, other parts of the world.
With parents working as missionaries, Taylor had what some would call an unconventional childhood. The experience may be the reason for Taylor's pursuit of aviation today.
When I was a young kid, when we transitioned back, that was my way of coping. A little bit with the change, having my life kind of dismantled by moving back to the U.S. I started building, just dove deep into that passion, started building some of the first quadcopters.
You heard that right. He started building his own drones. Instead of anxiously waiting for a driver's license, like most kids his age, Taylor was working towards a pilot's license. Not only can he fly in drones, but airplanes as well. Taylor has gained recognition for his work in aviation across the country. He holds a position on the CompTIA Drone Advisory Council and spoke in Washington, D.C. in 2018 at the CompTIA ChannelCon, an important event in the aviation industry. Taylor is also the founder and CEO of Windcraft Aviation, a company built out of Taylor's own basement. Windcraft Aviation is a commercial drone company that creates prototypes of specific drones with specific duties.
Windcraft Aviation is developing the world's first fuel cell-powered alternative energy vertical takeoff and landing transition vehicle, which means that it takes off like a helicopter, it flies like an airplane. And that's going to make aviation more accessible, and we believe that's going to have a huge impact on not only third world countries where they need this, the aid is needed immediately, but in countries like the United States where we can optimize urban to rural transportation.
Taylor says many third world countries don't have access to aircraft runways, but runways won't be needed with this new technology. Windcraft Aviation is planning to be the first in commercial drones that can offer aid to developing nations.
For us, being those world's firsts is important because that means we're, going to be essentially the most comprehensive solution, the best solution.
Taylor is currently renovating and working out of a hangar in the Lowell City Airport, where he hopes to create the first prototype.
We're at a very small municipal airport. They were the ones who gave us a leg up and said, get going, we'll support you guys. And it shows how much we have community backing, because they want to see aviation become what we want to see it become. They want to see aviation become accessible again. How can someone in the community support us? What's the best thing for people to do? How can we move forward in our project and see that come to fruition? I mean, very simply put, we already have a team in place. Essentially, we need backing. We need backing by people who have a passion for aviation and want to see this come to fruition. Not only that, but they have a passion for seeing West Michigan be the home of that.
Taylor and his crew are working hard to fund their prototype. He said that if you want to get involved with this project, there is a spot on their website to donate.
because Windcraft Aviation is such an impactful company, that means there's like huge commercial incentive for people to get involved. Not only investors, but people who want to come on as team members. We already have 17 volunteer, engineers. We're a company that has a vision, an incredibly impactful vision with minimal overhead.
What started as Taylor creating drones out of his basement may now be able to help people all around the world.
And our vision for aviation is that, it's accessible in every corner of the world. That whether you're needing rescue in, the mountains of Tibet, or you need food in West Africa, or if you just need to go to work in the United States, it's accessible.
Taylor has come a long way from toying around with his first drones. But as the founder and CEO of his own company at the age of 18, it's safe to say he won't stop there. In Lowell, I'm Madeline Crace.
Windcraft Aviation is currently seeking funding for their prototypes and hope to have their first finished by the end of this year.
The Wings Event Center in Kalamazoo was packed this weekend, and this time it wasn't because of a hockey game. The sport that drew big crowds was curling. That's right, curling. It's a unique and competitive game played on the ice. Producer Linnea Martinez and reporter Alexandria Taylor take us behind the scenes at the U.S. National Curling Championship and talk to some of the best curlers in the country.
When most people hear about winter sports, they think of ice hockey, figure skating, or maybe even speed skating. But at the Wings Event Center in Kalamazoo, a different kind of national championship was underway.
Curling's my passion. I love curling, so this is what I love doing, and definitely more fun winning. So.
That's Sarah Anderson, a professional curler for Team Sinclair. She and her teammates have been in Kalamazoo for more than a week, competing with 8 other women's curling teams for a shot at the title of national champion. But they're not the only ones here this weekend.
The first time I threw a rock, it was something I knew I was going to keep doing, and I decided to start kind of taking it seriously around 9th grade. And since then, I've played in a lot of national championships and world championships and 4 Olympics.
You heard that right. Schuster, as a member of Team Schuster, has competed in 4 Olympics throughout his curling career. Today, Team Schuster is taking aim for first place at the men's national championships in the hope that they will qualify to compete at Worlds. What exactly are these athletes doing on the ice? According to Marcus Gleaton, coordinator of the local curling club and an organizer for this event, curling is a sport played on ice where 2 teams of 4 compete by throwing stones. They score points based on which team's stone is closest to the center of the target.
After everyone's delivered all of the stones, then you go down, you see who's closest. Whoever's closest, that team scores. You do this 8 to 10 times up and down the ice. Whoever scored the most when it's all said and done, that's the team that wins.
Two members of the team, called sweepers, move up and down the ice with the stone. Gleaton says that those brooms are crucial to making a good shot.
So those sweepers, you hear them yelling and screaming, and they're actually asking the sweepers to kind of melt the ice ever so slightly. And by doing that, it helps to allow the rock to glide further and straighter. And it allows them to put the rock within a few inches of where their intended shot would be. That's what the novice fan really loves to see. Rocks moving and shots being made.
Both Gleaton and Schuster agree that the sport isn't as easy as it may look.
The most difficult part, about the sport in general is the balance on the ice and the precision that you have. Shots are made and missed by quarters of inches out there.
According to Gleaton, professional curlers have to train just like any other athlete.
Most folks think it's pretty easy, but there's a lot of actual work and physical stress that goes on when you're out there playing.
It's a lot of upper body and a lot of repetition.
This one a couple times, enter,
Throwing the stone also requires some flexibility.
Do lunges, right? How do you feel after you do a bunch of lunges in a day? Your legs get sore. Well, they're doing lunges every time they throw that rock.
Matt Hamilton from Team Schuster tells us how he trains for a competition.
It's not really an endurance kind of game. It's how fast can you recover and do it again. So I do a lot of rowing machine or wind sprints and stuff like that.
The game also involves a lot of strategy.
I was surprised how much strategy and how much consistency that you have to try.
I love the strategy. I think it's a lot of creativity and it's fun.
As the scores change, your kind of strategy kind of changes, and It's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of tactical things going on out there.
One of the most common comments we get from people after they try it is, whoa, this is a lot harder than I thought.
It looks really easy, and those Olympians make it look even easier than it is. Those are at the merchandise table.
Oh, great.
Mackenzie Skelski is a member of the Kalamazoo Curling Club and novice curler. She is just one of hundreds of fans cheering on her favorite team at the championships. According to Schuster, since the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics, they've seen an increase in interest in the sport.
When their last Winter Olympics really changed my life, realizing that me growing a mustache made me look like Matt Hamilton. It's really cool to see those just crazy curls, you know.
Our sport's definitely getting a lot more recognition in the last 8 or 10 years.
And it shows. The arena was full on the Saturday of the final, so full that many sports fans had to stand in order to watch the over 2-hour-long game. Gleaton says that since the curling club started in 2008, they've already hosted 3 national curling championships.
And the venue works well, and the U.S. Curling Association enjoys the event as well, so it kind of works good, and we try and do it as often as we can.
A lot goes into hosting an event like this, especially one on a national scale. There is a whole crew of volunteers working behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, there's a lot of volunteers. We have probably close to 100 volunteers filling in over 600 volunteer shifts throughout the week to make this event happen.
According to Sean Olison, assistant head ice technician for the United States Curling Association, preparing the ice for an event like this requires massive planning.
I think they're surprised, how meticulous and nitpicky it is with the curling ice compared to hockey ice. Everybody knows about hockey ice and the Zamboni, and curling stone needs to be on perfect ice so it can react the way it needs to, so the players can make the shots they want to make.
Anytime that the ice isn't consistent, that's where we as a team tend to get frustrated. But luckily we have some of the best ice makers in the world here at our national championship.
As much as Schuster loves his sport, he does admit that it can be difficult to be far from home.
The trickiest part as a competitive curler is just a ton of travel. I'm gone almost every single weekend, and that gets a little bit tough with young families and that kind of thing.
Each athlete and volunteer reports that they feel an incredible sense of community.
These folks that are out here, these athletes, are the best of the best here in the U.S., and yet they have their hearts open. They're willing to talk to you, meet with you, get to know you. You get to meet their families. It's just a great community of people.
It's fun. It's easy for a group of people to come together and watch it and enjoy it, and it's a good time.
Would definitely recommend that. Came here with 5 friends today, so yeah, it's going to be a really good time. It's a good sport to watch with people.
It's no doubt that people are passionate about the sport of curling, and the community is growing faster than ever.
It's a sport that's given me so much, and I have so many friends all over the world because of the sport that I play, and I love sharing that with people.
In Kalamazoo, I'm Alexandria Taylor.
Team Schuster will go on to represent the U.S. men's national curling team at the Worlds competition in Canada, while Team Sinclair will represent the U.S. at Worlds in Denmark later this spring. The Kalamazoo Curling Club says that if you're interested in learning more about curling or just checking out the sport, you're more than welcome to join them for their Saturday instructional leagues.
Michigan is known for having loads of activities for residents to do in the summer season, but what about during the winter? Despite the notoriously cold weather and winter of 2019, several companies in Grand Rapids are pulling together to make winter just as enjoyable.
We're a 4-season city, so we're really focused on trying to get people out active during the 4 seasons, and winter is key.
Michigan winters are typically filled with snow, ice, and below freezing temperatures. Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. is one of the many companies trying to encourage Michigan residents to get outside during these harsh winters. They want residents to stop fighting winter and instead learn to enjoy it.
One of our missions in Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. is to activate the city, so activate public spaces. And in the winter, people are outside less because of the weather. And we're trying to change that, kind of shift the culture.
One of the ways Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. is activating Grand Rapids is through the 4-day World of Winter Festival. Soros says they put on all types of activities for residents to enjoy. All of the events were free or were very low cost. Some of the most popular events included Snowga, also known as Snow Yoga, a Hungry Hippo tournament, snowshoeing, and a silent disco. Rosa Parks Circle also had food trucks, live music, and ice skating each day. They also opened up the ice rink for kids and community members to paint the ice.
Part of the event is just seeing everyone out and about. Like, I love that sense of community, and it's so easy when it's cold out to want to just hunker down and be inside, but I think just doing something outside, and it's fun.
Among the many events around the city, there were also 50 ice sculptures for attendees to look at. Downtown Grand Rapids Inc. partnered with Ice Guru in Grand Rapids. Randy Finch, owner of Ice Guru and sculptor, says they have 12 people on their team. He says it took them about 4 months to prepare everything for this festival.
A great opportunity for people that normally don't see an ice sculpture to see hundreds of pounds of ice, actually 30 tons of ice to be exact, sculpted around the city.
Finch says the ice sculpting has a lot of facets that most people don't understand. He says sculpting ice requires the right temperature for the water to circulate and freeze. After the water is frozen into ice, they use traditional hand tools and also modern power tools. Finch and his team performed 2 live ice sculpting events over the weekend to help educate the public.
Our goal for this event for our company is primarily to educate the public on ice sculpting, to share our art form with a lot of different people, and then also to try to contribute to the wonderful city of Grand Rapids and the activities that they have to offer.
Finch says that each ice sculpture is sponsored by a business. The ice sculptures then sit out in front of the businesses during the 4-day festival.
Generally after the December rush, January is kind of a slow month for a lot of businesses, especially downtown. So we hope that this will create a lot more traffic. We've seen that in the years past. In fact, some of the restaurants say that they're as busy as they are during Art Prize when we have the Winter Ice Festival.
Some of the participating businesses were Hopcat, Holiday Inn, Van Andel Arena, and the Downtown Market. In order to see the ice sculptures, attendees could participate in a free guided walking tour or grab a map and visit the ice sculptures and local businesses themselves. Van Driel from Downtown Grand Rapids Inc. said that on Saturday alone, they had over 8,000 people downtown.
We're always taking photos and checking in on our businesses while our event's going on, and they're all sold out right here on Monroe Center, so we did pretty well.
Van Driel says Downtown Grand Rapids Inc. will continue to work on projects and events throughout the city to make Grand Rapids an overall better city to live year-round. Reporting from Grand Rapids, I'm Mackenzie Sorrell.
And the festival, of course, returns next year, so be on the lookout for more events happening in downtown Grand Rapids in the near future. And talking about events, it's actually Grand Valley Spring Break this week, Kenzie. So are you going anywhere warm?
You know, Preston, I'm actually not going anywhere warm. I'm stuck here in the cold. Are you heading anywhere?
Yeah, I'm heading to Mexico. So fingers crossed I come back tan, warm, and kind of ready to wrap up the school year.
I'm sure you will be. I'm very jealous. Well, here's another exciting event that was happening in our very own neck of the woods. The 74th annual Grand Rapids Boat Show sailed into Grand Rapids to rev up this cold season and get you excited for the summer waves. West Side Stories reporter Christopher Cooper has more.
It's fun to be inside, it's a blast to be behind, and really it just set the new standard for progression in wakeboarding and wake surfing.
That's Jeff McKee, a spokesperson for Nautique Boats at this year's boat show. But Jeff McKee isn't just any ordinary spokesperson. He has been a pro wakeboarder since the early 2000s and rides behind the super Nautique boats, pulling off crazy tricks for the enjoyment of others watching, as well as for the sheer fun of it.
I started as a pro wakeboarder at a young age with Nautique, and have just, you know, I started when I was 11 years old is when I learned how to wakeboard, and I'm 33 now, and I still find it the funnest thing to do.
Attracted to the sport at a young age, McKee inspires other young athletes as the sport continues to grow in popularity. According to USA Water Ski and Wake Sports, about 4 million people around the world participated in the sport. With the growing popularity also comes new boat ideas to make the sport even more action-filled.
You know, wakeboarding is just a fun, exciting sport. There's lots of action, you know, jumping, flipping. You know, the young kids love to do it, and you know, so we built a boat that's great for that. And then, you know, for everybody, everybody likes something different, right? So to be able to wake surf, it's a bit slower. You get a big wave, right? So you get a little bit of everything with the boats nowadays.
Nautique designs high-end ski boats that create a smaller wake for a smoother ride, as well as roof-mounted wakeboard boats that create a bigger wake for jumps. McKee says the new boat designs allow him and other wakeboarders to go higher and hit bigger tricks. If wakeboarding isn't your thing, the boat show hosted more than 400 boats to check out. With the boating industry evolving, these boats included advanced technology like new power systems or designs. The show also included boat accessories like the Easy Cover.
It's the Easy Cover. It's the cover where you don't have to crawl around and do the snaps on your boat. You can have your boat covered in 45 seconds, or you can have it ready to go in 45 seconds. It's just a matter of pressing a key fob and you're ready to go out on the water.
The Easy Cover is designed to fit and protect the pontoon boats, and pontoon boats are a popular boat. According to boatingindustry.com, the pontoon boat has rekindled interest in recreational boating, and some pontoon boats include features like outdoor galleys. But this comes with a price. If you prefer a smaller vessel, you can go for a ride in a different kind of boat. These Hobie Mirage Outback kayaks include pedals in place of paddles. But if the price is still too steep or the kayak too colorful, maybe something different will float your boat. Like something from Paddle North. They make utility docks and kayaks.
We strip out a lot of the neon colors, a lot of the bright California coastal surf theme, and build in a lot of the Midwest pride for the cottage culture, the up north vibe. A lot of our product is simple. It really, wood grain speaks for itself, and really, toned down colors.
Mock says that this particular boat has a unique twist.
People don't know that a lot of our products are completely inflatable, and so they're often surprised by that.
All of these products deflate and fold up, making them easy to transport in the backseat of a car. But Mock says this is not the only advantage.
But durability and buoyancy is one that people often don't think about. And inflatables are often more buoyant than their hard counterparts, so they support more weight, which can lead to more balance on the products. So we have like a utility dock. It's a simple concept, but it's just a big inflatable dock, and people can hang out on the water, bring a chair and dogs and coolers or fish from it. It's a fun concept.
Although based in Minnesota, Mock and Paddle North are expanding into the Holland area to bring the Midwest pride to this side of the lake. With all the latest boats and water-related products, the boat show also displayed vintage wooden boats, like the Gull Wing, to remind us of Michigan's boating history and its love for the lakes. In Grand Rapids, I'm Christopher Cooper.
Thank you, Christopher. Michigan is ranked in the top 3 states for the most registered boats. You can check out michigan.gov to find out if your watercraft needs to be registered or renewed, so you don't miss out on all the fun this summer.
There's a lot going on this week in the greater Grand Rapids area that you won't want to miss out on. Let's take a look at our weekly calendar. It's Beer Month in the city of Grand Rapids, and today we'd like to honor that. Let's take a look at this WGVU digital studio segment from the Draught as they show us how some of your favorite beers are made.
The work for the brown-eyed girl has come to a rolling boil. It is Brewing Day here at Thornapple Brewing in Cascade Township. Owner Eric is here. You're mashing it up. Take me through the day.
Sure, Patrick. So we mashed in this morning, which involves adding the ground grains and warm water to the mash tun, and that starts a process where the enzymes on the grain convert starches to sugars. Once that process is done, we rinse the sugars through the bed of the grain and into the brew kettle, and we boil it up. We're coming to the end of the boil in there right now, where we're going to add our 15-minute addition of hops, let it boil for another 15 minutes, and then cool it all down. whirlpool it and run it through the plate chiller and put it in one of these nice 15 barrel fermenters.
And if you could only be here for the smell, oh, the grains smell awesome.
The grains smell great. We don't let anything go to waste. One of our signature dishes, the pizzas, we use a bit of the spent grain in the pizza crust, and then the rest of the grains, actually I load them onto a trailer and drop them off to my neighbor's house, who's a dairy farmer, so he feeds them to his cows.
Oh, those are some happy cows.
Yep, the cows are very fat and happy.
Fat and happy. Great beer here at Thornapple Brewing in Cascade Township. Eric, thanks for being on the draft.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll see you again soon.
And thanks to WGVU Digital Studios and the draft for that segment. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have, so I'm Preston Anikuski.
And I'm Mackenzie Sorrell. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications, inspiring thought, perfecting practice.